La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear viewers, welcome to the Muslimah's Voice. I am Omoyele Aziza. In today's episode, we'll delve into the intricacies of hijab, exploring whether it represents oppression or empowerment. Over centuries, the practice of hijab, which is often associated with modesty and humility, has, however, been sparking debates around the world. For some, hijab represents empowerment, a deeply personal choice rooted in faith and identity, while for others, it has been viewed as a symbol of oppression, and also misunderstood and misinterpreted in both cultural and societal contexts. In the discussion, we will dive deep into the significance of hijab, unraveling the tensions between empowerment and oppression. We'll listen to the voices of women who wear it with pride and dignity to discover if truly it represents choice, freedom, and personal power. Joining me in the studio today are Hajiya Shakiru Akipelu, an educationist with a professional experience spanning over 4 decades and also a marriage counselor.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You are welcome. And also with me is Sister Amatu Mujib Ahmad Sadiq, a graduate of law and a Hafiza who has committed the whole Quran to memory, as well as a Quran tutor.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for joining us. But before we delve into the discussion, we'll now go to the street and hear the public opinion on the topic.
I feel free using the hijab because the hijab is my identity and it's also an instruction from the Almighty Allah that we should cover up our body as Muslims.
Yes, I feel free using the hijab. Yes, it's unlike those days whereby when you wear your hijab, you get this look from people, this demeaning look. So the narrative has changed. Yes, I feel free using the hijab.
I feel free because obviously I'm a Muslim, that's one. So using hijab is actually a thing that is part of me. If I don't use it, I don't feel comfortable. And if I don't use it, I don't feel my dressing is complete as a human.
Hijab is a way of life. So almost all of us in the house, we have been using it, including my mommy.
Hijab, I see it as an empowerment because personally, I've been in different situations that, it brings respect for me.
Yes, it's not an oppression because once you use hijab like this, people will respect you for whom you are.
It protects one. Wherever one is, you don't feel molested. They respect you for who you are. They know you are a Muslim woman.
I would say it's an empowerment because it's in 3 aspects actually. One is in terms of self-respect and modesty. Also, I feel like in terms of spiritual liberty, because normally as a Muslim you have to use hijab, and it gives that respect because a Muslim woman earns all this kind of respect both from adults, from young, from anybody generally.
Wearing hijab does not mean you should dress anyhow and look unkempt. So when you dress properly, you see that people respect you more. They are willing to help you. So these days, hijab is actually an empowerment other than oppression.
Welcome back, dear viewers at home. We have listened to the public view. Hajiya Shakiru Akipelu Sahiba, what does hijab mean?
Thank you very much. Literally, hijab means to conceal, cover, or separate. It is an Arabic term that indicates a modest or private aspect of life, including dress and behavior. It specifically refers to a fabric covering the head, neck, and sometimes faces as worn by Muslim women as a symbol of 1. Humility, 2. Modest, 3. Privacy, 4. Devotion to Allah, and 5. Cultural identity. To me, hijab is a symbol of protection for Muslim women, especially as we gradually enter into the world where women are abused and treated as weaker gender.
Jazakumullah khairan for that beautiful insight of what hijab means. Sister Amatu Mujib Sahiba, how do you view hijab in terms of empowerment or oppression?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Just to buttress what my colleague has said, the hijab to me means a shield veiling you from something. And in the 4 places that it has been mentioned in the Quran, it transcends just a head covering. And it has been prescribed for both men and women to connote modesty and make boundaries and create boundaries. I understand that there are persons that view the hijab as oppression. But what is the view of God? Because the view of God is my own view. In the Holy Quran, Surah Al-Ahzab, chapter 33, verse 60, Allah has said, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها النبي قل لأزواجك وبناتك ونساء المؤمنين يدنين عليهن من جلابيبهن ذلك أدنى أن يعرفن فلا يؤذين وكان الله غفورا رحيما. It means, O Prophet, say to your wives and your daughters and the wives of believers that they should draw upon them their outer garments. That is kara, as to distinguish them and not get them molested. Verily, Allah is most forgiving, merciful. That brings me to the aspect of empowerment. The aspect that means that hijab empowers women and not oppress them. First, as said in the verse, that it connotes, it distinguishes us, it gives us a sense of individuality. Once you wear the hijab, you need not tell anyone you're a Muslim. And it gives us a sense of solidarity in that I am not the only one wearing the hijab in our part of the world. There are other women in the world wearing the hijab. The second aspect of the verse, not getting molested. That means that hijab is a source of protection for us. Although there are discussions around women not being objectified, but then men still blame their promiscuities on us, on the indecent dressings of some women. And it has been said that, based on statistics, women who cover up are less likely to get unpleasant cases. Again, the hijab gives us the freedom of religion. It helps us express our right to freedom of religion, as is entrenched in Section 4 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, and Article 9, subsection 2 of the European Convention on Human Rights, and several other declarations and charters. We have rights to freedom of expression and freedom of religion, and the hijab, wearing the hijab, is an obedience to our God and expressing our religion. Another way by which hijab empowers the woman is that it gives us, although hijab is not meant to be worn for fashion, right? Hijab is not meant to be done as a fashion item, but then it gives us a sense of fashion in that there are different levels to wearing the hijab. There are persons who use scarf, there are persons who use small hijab, there are persons who use long hijab, and there are persons who dress like me. So it gives us a freedom to express our fashion tastes.
MashaAllah, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Our sister has given us an insight into what Allah said in the Quran and also what the Constitution of Nigeria has said. Coming back to Hadia Akepelu Sahiba, how has wearing the hijab influence your interactions and relationship with others?
Thank you. Though I was born and nurtured a Muslim, but the consciousness to wear the hijab never come until 1996 when I was teaching in a non-Muslim school. There and then, I graduated from the casual and general mood of dressing into a full hijab woman. So, to me, the adoption of hijab as a Muslim woman make me to become more committed to my faith. It makes me to be acceptable in my community. It makes me to practice my roles very well as a wife, as a daughter to my parents, as a wife to my husband, as a mother to my children, and as a counselor in my community. So parents who give their children to me to train as a tutor now see me as the right person to take care of their children. Even though they are Muslims too, they still prefer me to take care of their children in terms of their spiritual well-being and to build them in totality. So among my community too, women love to relate with me, to seek guidance from me, to seek counseling from me, and some even want their children to live with me because of what they believe I can dish out to the children, as against what the children can be exposed to in the streets and the community.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen for how hijab has made you a role model in the community and even as a school administrator for parents to be able to entrust their children into your hand. Sister Amatu Mujib Sahiba, can you share your experiences regarding misconceptions and stereotypes about the wearing of hijab?
I think wearing the hijab as oppression is in itself a misconception. In contrast to viewing the hijab as oppression today, what we have is psychological molestation syndrome, which means that the woman is objectified to appear as something, to appear fit, to appear presentable. And it happens almost everywhere. In movies, in corporate world, in the business world, they are to appear pleasing to the client, to attract clients. Whereas in Islam, the woman is bestowed the highest level of respect and honor. One very common misconception about hijabis and people who dress like me is that we do not go to school. And it has happened a lot of times that I've even lost count. Tell me about persons speaking in English just so that they believe you do not understand or you cannot comprehend what they are saying. And then in the end, when I tell them I'm a law graduate, they'll be like, oh, wow, I did not see that coming. You're a law graduate? Why are you dressed up like this? Oh, it must be your husband. Your husband must have coerced you into dressing like this. And then I tell them I started dressing like this before I even got married. And it gets them dumbfounded every time. Another misconception is that even if we're learned, even if we go to school, we do not have we do not want to further, we do not want to work on our self-development. We end up being confined in our homes. We end up being speechless. Like I said, I'm a learned person. I'm a Quran tutor. I'm a dressmaker, and I do all of these things from the comfort of my home. Personally, I love being at home. I'm too much of a homemaker than running around looking for what is not lost. And there are other persons like me that are remote workers that work from home. And there are other sisters that work excellently in their field. We have doctors, we have nurses, we have lawyers who are hijabis, and they are doing perfectly fine in their professions. In Islam, the principle that women should be at home is not designed to confine us or to shut us up. In fact, in Islam, there are rights that has been bestowed on women more than 1,400 years ago. These practices are put in place to protect us. There are men out there who would want to harm you, who would want to molest you, who would want to do all sorts just because you are a weaker vessel. And they know they can go scot-free because there's nothing you can do about it. But once you have your mahram around you, once you have someone that is there to protect you, as against what people misconstrue our husbands, like it is said in the Holy Quran, "Ar-rijalu qawwamuna 'ala an-nisa." Men are guardians to their women, not masters or slaves. They are there as our guardians. So if I have my guardian with me, I do not have to be scared, or I know that I can go around freely because someone is with me to protect me always.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, to the beautiful insight of what our sister has just given us. Viewers at home, if you are just joining us on today's episode of The Muslimah's Voice, today's topic is hijab, an empowerment or oppression. Alhamdulillah, our guest has been able to give us how the hijab has transcended or has given them a hold or an edge in their professional lives and in their community. To continue with the topic of our discussion, Hajia Kipelu Sahiba, can you relate any personal experiences where wearing the hijab has led to positive opportunities or connections?
Thank you very much. The community where I live start to look up to me as the best hand that can impart knowledge into their children, most especially the female children. I engage in lots of community service through my fold, Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat. At times, when I first appear to interact with my women folk, you see the look on them. They try to look me with scornfulness, and Alhamdulillah, after some moments of interacting with me, their perspectives change and they long to meet me again. In fact, hijab has trained me to become a trainer that I am. And I must confidently say here that hijab, if rightly adopted, indeed is an eye-opener and a door that leads to successful and fulfilled life, even as a career woman. Now, to see Muslim women using hijab as being oppressed or unlettered or not well-to-do is a gross misconception, which must be removed in order to achieve a peaceful society where no one is oppressed. Recently, I had the opportunity of addressing my women folk on a topic that has to do with tawakkul and sabr. Tawakkul meaning reliance on God, and sabr means patience. As soon as I was called upon to present my paper on this topic, I heard women whispering to one another, "Is this the person to address us?" I heard it and I went on up to them. I jokingly told them that yes, I am the one. Alhamdulillah, after my presentation, many of them congratulated me and they were eager to give me handshakes, to the extent that one of our eminent personality invited to the program, a queen of a first-class Oba in Lagos, quickly moved up to me and asked for my contacts. And she confessed that she was convinced by my presentation that women in hijab are not just ordinary women, that she was convinced that they are bundle of brain. She even gave me her contacts on that day. And she begged me to be her friend. So alhamdulillah for that.
Alhamdulillah for that beautiful representation. Haji Hamatu Mutjib Sahiba, can you also share your personal experiences of how hijab has positively impacted your life, especially while in school?
Well, I would say that the hijab has positively impacted me in so many ways that I've even lost count. There are instances where I would be told not to eat a particular food because it is not halal, it has this, that. Do not go to that place, Hajias cannot go there, do not do this, do not do that. It's not befitting for your outfit. There was a day I got late to the examination hall while in school. And when you come late, you have to go sit at the back because there are no seats in the front again. And while I searched for a seat and could not get the seat, I was moving towards the back when one of the lecturers called me that, "Oh, Ajia, don't sit at the back. Oh, that back's for bad students. It's not for people like you. Come and sit here." And the lecturer does not know me personally. I know he just gave me that honor because of my hijab, and I felt really, really, really honored. And then there was a time I interned at a renowned radio station. I was the only hijabi. And then when we get there, we'll be asked where we would like to intern, whether programming, productions, presentations too. I opted for presentation. And they asked me, "Oh, can you talk?" I said, "Yes, very well." On Independence Day, they needed new voices for some presentations. And one of the supervisors said, "That Ajia said she can talk. Let's give her a chance." And that was how I ended up being the only one given the opportunity to record some presentations. And I even went on air before I left the radio station. There have been other instances where people will treat me with disdain at first. But when I open my mouth to talk and they get to know the stuff that I'm made of, they'll be like, "Oh, so you people go to school? Oh, so you people are learned? Oh, so you people this, that." So alhamdulillah, the hijab has stood me out so far.
That was a beautiful representation of your experience concerning how hijab has impacted your life while in school. Dear viewers at home, let's listen to the guidance of the head of Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat worldwide, Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, on the topic.
The minimum requirement of parda is that you cover your head, your hairs, and your chin, and your cheeks. And then like this. That is the minimum requirement for that. If you are fulfilling this one, then it is okay. This is what the Prophet Messiah Islam has told us, that this is the minimum requirement a woman should do. But at the same time, with this type of parda, you should not do any makeup. If you have done any makeup, then at least you should cover your face, right? As some of the Lajna members are doing, right? Otherwise, if you are not doing any makeup, this is the minimum requirement as you are now. And that is enough for Lajna members. And their dress should also be not very tight. So then, it is, if you are fulfilling this requirement, then it is enough for you.
Welcome back, dear viewers at home. We have listened to the guidance of the head of Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat worldwide on the essence of hijab. Coming back to the studio, Hajia Shakira Akinpelu Sahiba, let's have our final thoughts on the topic.
Thank you, my sister. It is unfortunate that even the teaching profession that should promote decent wear and looks is now full of leaders who see nothing wrong in wearing clothes which are revealing and should be banned on teaching profession, no matter who the person is. As a teacher, before I got to this stage where I am today, I was faced with a lot of criticisms. People condemned my dressing and accepted teachers who adorn pants and revealing dresses. They see them as preferred choices to me. Not even my record of excellence among my pupils could save me in one of the schools where I worked. That did not debar them from relieving me of my job simply because of my wear. So it is so sad. And even as I recount the incident today, I still feel bittered and I pity the coming generation. Lastly, I want to advise women. 1, to be upright, to be righteous, and pay total obeisance to Almighty Allah. They should respect Allah and obey all His commandments, just as I've said before, so that their children can emulate this from them.
Jazakumullahu khairan. Hajja Sahiba, Hajja Ahmad Mujib Sahiba, what are the advices you have for viewers at home?
Thank you very much, Ma. Firstly, I would like to say that we, Muslim men and women alike, have to start reading about our religion so that the West does not shove what is not down our throats. Men, learn your religion and teach it to your women. Women, learn your religion and teach your children. Islam is perfect, and so is Allah's commandments. So if you see someone practicing their culture and portraying it as Islam, for example, there is a man in the northern part of our country. He has 4 wives, and he treats them anyhow, beats them. In fact, 2 of them died thanks to constant beatings. One became handicapped, and the other is just there. And then the women are told to keep praying for him and keep enduring. If these women know about their rights, these things will not happen. They have a right to live, to run for their lives. Allah has said that we should know Him before we worship Him. If we don't know Him, how are we supposed to worship Him right? Learn about your religion and the true concept of hijab, and decide whether or not you want to use it, how and why, whether it be for the obedience of Allah or the pleasure of people.
Jazakumullahu khairan to our guests for sharing your experiences and beautiful insights. Dear viewers, today's discussion has explored the hijab as a symbol of empowerment rather than oppression. We have seen how it influences interactions, professional life, and personal growth. We hope this episode has provided a deeper understanding of the hijab's true meaning and highlighted the beauty of embracing diversity and respecting personal choices. For questions, comments, or inquiries, kindly email us on africa@mta.tv. Dear viewers, thank you for joining us on this episode of The Muslimah's Voice. Until next time, when we bring to you more insightful and interesting topics, stay curious and keep the dialogue going. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
La ilaha illallah, illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah.